I think when you're talking about sort of team needs and players returning to the squad, a lot of that is encouraging news for yourself. A person I know that's been listed on the bench a couple of times and probably working their way back up to the first team is Tariq Lamptey. I just wanted to know, in terms of over 300 days now without him being involved in sort of a Premier League or Premier League game, I just want to know how you feeling about his nearing a Premier League appearance again.
No, he's been training really well. As you can imagine, he's chomping to get back on the pitch and play. We just got to find the right moment for him. The team's been doing well, and as a sub, it's not so easy to come on and make that impact. We're obviously conscious of the fact that he's had a long layoff, so we need to be careful with him. But at the same time, he's been training. He's ready to help us. So it's just about finding the right moment for him.
Graham, how are you handling the extra attention that's coming your way in terms of the plaudits and the great work in terms of the start to the season that you've had?
Well, it was, I think it was probably less than a year ago, for example, that, there's a lot of the opposite noise, if you like, around, whether we're doing a good job or whether it's time to move on from me, that type of stuff. So I think the thing is with football is it can change quickly, and I don't pay too much attention to the noise from the outside, because if it's negative or if it's positive, I don't think you should really give it too much consideration. So I don't trust the positive noise that much, and I don't get too carried away if it's negative. Like I said, this time last year, probably even less. I'm answering questions about whether I have the support of the board, I remember. So it's part of football. It's part of the noise of football. And I just, for me, it's about trying my best to do the job that I'm doing and helping the players and helping the team and getting on with things day to day.
Do you look at all of the noise exactly the same way in terms of, you would have seen, because of the great job that you're doing and the plaudits that you're receiving, immediate links to the Newcastle job as well. Do you look at all of the noise exactly the same way in terms of that admiration?
Pretty much. Like I said, it's all it is opinion. We live in a 24-hour news world. They have to fill it with something. A lot of it is not true. A lot of it is opinion, which doesn't necessarily make it the truth. It's just what it is. It's just that. I feel a little bit for the supporters because they have to read speculation or they have to read false headlines that aren't correct. But I think most people understand that that's just the world we're in. And so from my perspective, like I said, it's what you can't do is listen to the good stuff and then not listen to the bad stuff. I just choose not to really listen to any of it and just to focus on my job. Like I said, it's, we're doing, from a points perspective, we've done well this year so far, but we've played 7 matches. There was this time last year where we played 7 matches and probably our performances were as good as we've played now. The difference is we've got the points. And obviously we're in a world where it's quite simplistic. If you win, you're good, and if you lose, you're bad. And with that in mind, you have to just try and be consistent, try to be calm, try to do your job the best you can, and not to listen to the noise from the outside.
I spoke to Dan this morning, I'm going to assume before training, and he was talking about really there isn't that much difference, probably alluding to a lot of the things that you were just saying in terms of the football and the quality that you guys have produced over the last 12 months. It's just now you've got a clinical edge. Is that how you kind of see it as well?
Well, it's not a big sample we've got at the moment. Like I said, we've played 7 matches. So, of the 7 games, as I've said before, it's not like we've been the incredibly dominant team and deserve to win all the games. It's not that. It's just the margins have been quite tight. They've gone in our favour this time. A lot of the time last year, they didn't. So you're in this situation where, a lot of the performances and the performance data or whatever you want to say to back up your performance, it was good last year. But because we hadn't had the points, you can't really turn around and say, our XG is this or our performance data is this, but we're down the bottom of the league and we're fighting for relegation. So you have to just keep working. But in terms of our performance level, I say for the players have been consistent over a period of time. And as is often the case in football, sometimes you get the rub of the green with you and sometimes you get it without you. And you have to deal with those two sides of the coin in the same way. Not think you've cracked it when it's going your way, and not think it's the end of the world when it's going the opposite way.
I mean, the Premier League, every single team causes such a different opposition. You have to be so flexible and adaptable every game. What are the threats that Norwich possess, especially because, of course, they're still looking for their first victory this year?
Well, there's that. There's the fact that they've, earned the right to be in this league, with a, credible performance last year in the Championship. They've still got a lot of the players that have got that success. They've changed a little bit in terms of playing a back five, and they're fighting. Like I said, they've had a tough start in terms of their fixture list, and it can become a little bit difficult. But when I watch the games, I see them fighting. I see them trying. I see them playing. I'm pretty sure that win will come. Just hopefully, for us, it's not the weekend. We respect our opponent. Good people at Norwich City. They've done it well over a number of years. Daniel's done a great job there. Fantastic coach. So, but we're going there in a good moment. We're excited for the game. We're looking forward to the game. The international break has been good for us. We've finished on a good moment against Arsenal, good performance, and now we want to carry it on in the next game.
I only have two more for you, Graham. In talking of that international break, as much as it's a brilliant sort of rest in the middle of the season, do you feel like it could stop momentum at all? Or how do you maintain your form and your positive start into obviously the next phase of the season now?
Well, I think it is, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. There's no point second guessing. There's no complaining or thinking it's a positive or negative. It just is what it is, and we have to just adapt to it. The guys have gone away, some of them. Everybody's come back okay, which is the main thing. And then we've had some, good time to recover, good time to train here. Boys had a training session today, really good spirit, fantastic attitude, good quality. So we're looking forward to the game, and we're excited for the game, and bring it on.
And just finally, on a little bit of a sadder note, I'm sure you would have heard the news about David Brooks, and the football community is very, very small in terms of support and his stage 2 of his situation at this moment in time. I just thought, I'm asking everybody today if you have any words of encouragement, just so we can see Brooksy back on the pitch as soon as possible. Any words that you have for him?
Other than, of course, our thoughts are with him and his family in this. It's a big fight. It puts things into perspective. But you see the character that he is, what he's achieved in his short life. He's got the capacity to fight. I'm sure he will. And we're all with him. We're all thinking about him, and we wish him the best.
Well, Graham, how was international break for you? Do you ever feel like you need a bit of a break and a reset, or is it just one constant merry-go-round?
No, it's the time to do that. Exactly that. I think the games are intense when they're here. We're going into another block now. I think 5 games in between now and the next international break. So it makes sense for lots of levels to use the time to recover and to recharge and to be ready for the next batch of games.
And just with Norwich at the weekend, do you feel it's sort of fair that people judge their start to the season purely on a table perspective? Because potentially the table doesn't really reflect the story of their season.
No, absolutely, I agree with that. But unfortunately, life isn't fair, and everybody has their, if you like, agenda, and everybody wants to create a story, and sometimes you're on the right side of it, sometimes you're not. They've had a difficult start, like I said, in terms of the fixtures that they have, and then that can put you under a bit of pressure. But like I said, there's good people at Norwich City, and they'll be fighting, they'll be ready. When I watch the games, there's quality there. There's a good attitude there. So I don't want to say too much because we play them at the weekend, and our focus is on us. But that's something we all have to deal with, is in terms of how the media, you guys, portray the story. Sometimes it's not fair.
But look, there's been plenty of good stuff for Brighton so far this season. What areas or aspects are you still working on, see potential to develop, and has that break allowed you to work on that?
Well, I mean, it sounds obvious, but we're still trying to work on all of our game. We're the players have done brilliantly. They've the togetherness, the spirit, the quality they've shown in the games has been fantastic. brilliant to work with, and they deserve all the credit. But we're an honest bunch. We're quite consistent in terms of, regardless of the result, regardless of the points, our job is to try to keep improving on every aspect. So that's what we've been trying to do. As we said at the start of the interview, it's international break, so people go away, and there's a point where you can maybe recharge a little bit and have a bit of downtime, which is also important because there's a long winter coming up. But since we've been back, the guys have trained really well, great attitude, and like I said, we're looking forward to the game.
Lovely. Graham, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi there, Graham. I understand that you've got Adam, Eve and Enoch all back training, but not such good news for the likes of Danny Welbeck. Could you tell us a little bit about the injury and how much of a blow that is?
Yeah, it was his hamstring, so it's been ongoing a bit, I think, and in the end surgery seemed to be the best solution for him. But obviously it's devastating for Danny and for us, disappointing of course, but he's had the surgery, all went well, and he'll be back stronger than ever, I think. It's just going to take a bit of time for that process to happen. Same with Stephen. His ankle when he fell on it. So it's really disappointing for them. But what we've got to think about is how to help them recover and be back strong.
Well, obviously we've talked about a lot of the attacking players. You're happy with the options that you've got going forward? Yeah,
I am. Got lots of different players in different positions, some young ones as well coming through. So actually excited about the group, excited about the squad. As I said earlier, we need to keep improving, but the mentality of the team is really good at the moment.
You haven't quite considered Shane Duffy as an extra striker yet, Graham. He scored again in midweek for his country. He's turning into a real weapon going forward as well as at the back.
I might try and turn him into like a box-to-box centre back forward. I'm not sure he's going to thank me for that though. But that's the quality that he brings. In the boxes, he's fantastic. And there's different ways to use him, but maybe not as the centre forward just yet. But you never know, Johnny.
It helps with people contributing. But how pleased have you been with the defensive solidity in this opening parts of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been something that we've been quite consistent with over a period of time. If I reflect, and again, as I said, I think it was after the Arsenal game, it's a collective thing. It's the players as a group are really together. They want to help each other. They want to fight for each other. That gives you a chance, I think, of keeping clean sheets. Of course, the quality of the opponent, sometimes it happens, but generally our level of defensive actions has been really high, and everybody's contributed to that. It's the only way. You can't point to the goalkeeper or the defenders. It's a collective mentality, and really happy with the boys with that.
In terms of Norwich, you mentioned their difficult start, the tough games that they've had. Does that make them even more dangerous potentially this weekend?
Well, I think every opponent, like I said, or I say every week, every opponent at this level is worthy of our respect 100%, because they're here on merit. They're here because they deserve to be. They're fighting for it. They're going to want to get that win as soon as they can. They've had a tough start. They'll look at this game as a game for them to take points. And we have to make sure we're ready. We're going to have to fight for the points. We're going to have to play well. We're going to have to have that bit of luck. All the things that we say all the time you need. But like I said, we're in a good place. The guys are in a good moment. We need to carry on.